Hello and welcome to Ski Lodge. We're on a mission to explore and document 100 Colorado communities, and this month we went to Cañon City. In today's video, I'll explain Cañon City's history and geography, as well as let you know what we found and what to expect if you go there. Let's get started. Cañon City in most of mountainous Colorado was initially inhabited by the Ute Indians among other tribes. The area was also owned by Spain and France before becoming American with the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. In 1806, Zebulon Pike and his team became the first Americans to enter Colorado following the Arkansas River west on their search for the Colorado River headwaters. They first passed through Cañon City heading northwest into South Park, but found themselves back in less than 2 months after mistaking the Arkansas for the Colorado upstream. American settlement began during the rise of the Santa Fe Trail. William Bent operated his first stockade in the Florence area from 1824 to 28 before moving the operation east. Another trading post was later opened on Adobe Creek in the 1830s, which attracted the Pathfinders, a group of men looking for western ranch land. Stable water sources, decent weather, and proximity to the trading post and trails made the area appealing, and by the late 1840s, a handful of families called it home. The Colorado Gold Rush kicked off in 1858, flooding the Front Range with thousands of prospectors. A town site named Cañon City after the Royal Gorge was laid out and used as a supply camp for the South Park Valley. This location proved successful and was made the seat of Fremont County upon creation of Colorado Territory in 1861. Oil was discovered near Florence the following year, booming the already progressive economy. Cañon City quickly became one of early Colorado's most important cities, even being nominated for Territory Capital in 1868. In 1871, the Colorado Territorial Prison opened on the west side of the city. It's the state's oldest prison still in operation today. The next year they incorporated. Trains reached Colorado in 1869. Nearby Pueblo and Florence received rail service right away, but no attempts were made to extend the line into Cañon. Eager to connect, residents created their own rail line that ran to Florence Station. This was purchased and improved by Denver Rio Grande in 1874. The Royal Gorge Railroad War ignited after this, with employees of Atchison Topeka fighting Denver Royal Grande for control of the upcoming line through the gorge. Upon resolution, Cañon City's first official train depot was opened, offering connections both east and west of the city. In 1878, dinosaur bones and other fossils were found near Oil Creek, with many more discovered over the following decades. Cañon City entered the 1880s as a key city with an economy of logistics, mining, oil, and agriculture. Tourism was seen as a missing link, which led to the creation of Lincoln Park in Brookside. The park itself was impressive, advertised to have over 1 million different trees. It covered a massive area with the upscale housing community of Brookside built southeast. This park, the Royal Gorge, and some local hot springs made the Cañon City area one of early Colorado's most popular to visit. The 1890s saw an unexpected boom with the Cripple Creek Gold Rush to the north. At first, the best way to get to Cripple Creek was Phantom Canyon out of Florence, and it didn't take long before smelters, warehouses, hotels, and other mining essentials were built in the area to accommodate. In 1900, Cañon City and Florence were Colorado's 9th and 10th largest cities. The local overlook, Skyline Drive, was constructed using inmate labor in 1903. In 1909, an improved train depot was built 4 blocks west after residents voiced their unhappiness with the hastily built station they already had. Mining slowed during the CF&I strike in 1914, with the ensuing Ludlow Massacre and coalfield wars causing a ripple effect throughout Colorado's mining community. Shortly after this was resolved, America entered World War I, which ultimately killed the local gold industry. The fall of Cripple Creek briefly depressed Fremont County, but gold wasn't their only industry, so they rebounded. In the 1920s, the KKK had become politically powerful in Colorado, especially in Denver and Cañon City. Holding positions in both state and local government, they influenced various laws and decisions, including an attempt to halt construction of the Holy Cross Abbey. Despite their efforts and threats, it still opened in 1924. 4 years later, Grand Dragon Fred Arnold died, dissolving the local clan. The Royal Gorge Bridge, Cañon City's most popular attraction, was built in 1929. The bridge was assembled using steel cables made in the Pueblo steel mill, and there were no fatalities or major accidents during construction. It was the highest bridge in the world for 72 years. Cañon City settled into itself during the 30s, 40s, and 50s, with the economy gradually shifting from oil and mining to agriculture and tourism. The city even became popular for filming in the 60s and 70s as the setting for Western movies and TV shows. Over the years, several prisons opened around Fremont County, leading the area to be known as the prison capital of America. In fact, more than half the jobs in the county come from the prison industry, and 38% of county residents are inmates. In 2006, the monastery of the Holy Cross Abbey was closed following a meeting that deemed the monastic community no longer viable. The winery still continues, as well as special and seasonal events. In 2013, the Royal Gorge fire burned 3,900 acres over 4 days, destroying most of the park's buildings. The bridge itself had minimal damage, and repairs were made the following year. In 2016, the Hayden Pass fire burned over 16,000 acres to the west near Cotopaxi. Today, Cañon City remains an important part of the Front Range as the core of Fremont County and the second most important city in the Pueblo metro area. The mini prisons give locals a good living, and the surrounding landscape offers plenty to do and see on the off days. Tourism draws thousands of people to Cañon every year, but it's an easy choice with so much to do and being just a short drive from Cripple Creek, Pikes Peak, and Colorado Springs. Though not as fast as other Colorado cities, Cañon is likely to keep growing for the foreseeable future. Cañon City is located on the Arkansas River in Fremont County, directly east of the Royal Gorge. It sits at an elevation of 5,332 and has a city population of just over 17,000 residents, making it the third largest community in the 4-county Pueblo metro area. It is accessed using US 50 with Florence and Pueblo east and Salida in the mountains an hour west. Near Cotopaxi, Colorado 69 heads south towards Westcliff. Closer to town, Colorado 9 goes northwest into South Park for easy access to Fairplay and Cripple Creek. Colorado 115 follows the Arkansas River southeast to Florence before curving north towards Penrose and Colorado Springs. 115 also intersects with Colorado 67, the scenic highway that becomes Phantom Canyon to the north or Hardscrabble Pass to the south. Cañon City itself is laid out on a grid pattern with downtown sitting parallel to the river and the rest of town north-south. As mentioned before, the city is directly east of the Royal Gorge. This draws the majority of tourists to the area, not only to see the sights, but for whitewater rafting, bungee jumping, and even skydiving. Cañon City is also famous for dinosaur fossils, with several activities specifically catered around it. City limits lies within a bowl, but the surrounding geography is hilly from former ancient rivers flowing down the wet mountains. They carved the terrain like a knife on the way, creating spectacular views no matter which direction you look. Dozens of trails let you walk through those views when you're ready. The Arkansas River itself twists and turns through the mountains before straightening out as it flows east into the prairie. The weather in Cañon City is typical for the Colorado Front Range, with warm summers and mild winters. A typical July day will reach the low 90s and then drop into the 60s overnight. The area experiences Colorado's annual monsoon season that brings weekly or even daily thunderstorms from June to August, and its proximity to the surrounding mountains means there's an increased chance for hail, but a minimal chance for tornadoes. Cañon City, Florence, and Pueblo sit in a rain shadow locally known as the Banana Belt. Influenced by the specific location of the nearby mountains, snow and rain spin over and around this region, both reducing accumulation and increasing temperatures compared to nearby places. Fall and spring are usually comfortable with highs in the 60s, and the leaves begin to change the first half of October. Winter stays mild thanks to the city's location just below the pinyon-juniper zone, with highs typically reaching the 40s and lows in the teens or 20s. Snow comes in bursts, and though most days are comfortable and sunny, conditions can change fast. Even so, Cañon sees just 33 inches of snow, much less than most Colorado cities. The tree-covered hills around town make wildfires a constant concern, but year-round the weather is typically pleasant. Our trip to Cañon City went great, and we had sunny and comfortable weather while there. It was easy to find parking on Main Street, which runs parallel a block over from Highway 50. Our first impression of Cañon was good, with lots to look at and plenty to start doing. We began at the clock tower on the corner of 3rd. This clock sat atop the original Fremont County Courthouse until 1965. We walked past City Hall heading west on Main and approached the Territorial Prison. A massive complex looking straight out of a movie, this prison marks the western edge of downtown with the foothills of the Front Range looming tall above it. Watchtowers and old Victorian houses surrounded it. We turned south on 1st, carefully crossing Highway 50. On the other side, the Royal Gorge Mansion came into view. Built in 1883 for the prominent Robison family, it still stands today, used for weddings and special events. Across the street, the tree-lined Arkansas River casually flowed past. We followed it east a block to Centennial Park, Cañon City's largest. Certainly one of the newer and better maintained parks we've been to, there was plenty of playground, open space, and covered seating for everyone. A baseball diamond and a duck pond are also found here, as well as unlocked public bathrooms. Everyone had a lot of fun at this park, which is crowded with other parents and kids like us. We let the kids burn off some energy before crossing the river to the Royal Gorge Railroad Station. One of Canyon's busiest attractions, this building and parking lot were bustling. We got a few pictures and made our way back to Highway 50. Though filled with businesses, Highway 50 itself is not pleasant to see by foot. Traffic loudly passes by and the gas stations and shops were all at the back of crowded parking lots. We carefully continued east until we reached the corner of Highway 50 and 9th where Canyon's original train station is located. Now operating as a bank, we understood why the second depot was built, as this one was small, narrow, and on a really tiny lot. Across the street from it is the city's tallest building, Sunflower Bank. We crossed at 9th back towards Main Street. Looking right, we saw very few businesses for tourists, so we turned left. One of the coolest things about downtown Canyon is how most of the buildings still bear their original names. Between 7th and 8th alone, we found an old Standard Oil gas station, the Acme Block, and Canyon Auto Building. The United Methodist Church stood tall at the corner of 8th, looking amazing with its gold roof shining in the sun. The St. Cloud Hotel a block over is a treat as well, but it's currently undergoing construction, so it wasn't as iconic looking as usual. This work also closed 7th Street, which prevented us from checking out the beautiful First Presbyterian Church, though you can see it here in the background. The next few blocks are the city's best known and busiest, with the Skyline Theater, Fremont County National Bank, and Reynolds Bank being found here. There were also numerous antique stores, restaurants, and things to do between 3rd and 7th Streets. It was bustling with most of the parking spaces full and outside tables taken. People were walking around and everyone we interacted with was friendly. We felt Cañon City was clean and engaging, plus they get extra credit for not making us feel uncomfortable while filming. We took our time looking around and checking out a few stores before making our way back to the car and then heading back to Pueblo. Cañon City seems to be a town that every Coloradan has been to, but no one really knows that much about. If you ask, you'll hear that it's by the Royal Gorge or has a lot of jails, but not much more. This project really opened my eyes that Canyon is actually a well-rounded place and not just another pass-through town. It's convenient for both recreation and business, has a much richer history than expected, and was comfortable and charming. I feel it's a good example of the Colorado everyone talks about and loves experiencing. The Colorado that brings feelings of excitement and wonder simultaneously, and that's surprising because Canyon isn't a town you'd typically hear in that conversation. But let's get the full picture by talking about the bad too. Historically, Cañon City is known to be racist, with people claiming the Klan is still active in the area. I can't personally speak on this as I honestly just don't know. Another downside is its location. Though I said it was convenient a little while ago, it's also inconvenient depending on where you are. A trip to the area isn't really worth it unless you have several hours to spend, and if you're driving through the state on any road besides Highway 50, Canyon is just a little too far to justify a visit. But that's about it. We felt the homeless population was a lot lower than most, and there weren't many abandoned buildings or sketchy people. Taking these opinions and experiences into account, here's where we rank Cañon City so far. We hope you enjoyed exploring Cañon City with us and that you'll join us next time when we visit another one of Denver's many suburbs, this one popular for its open space and family-friendly atmosphere. We'll see you next time in Parker, Colorado.